All right, so right here we have a customer's Z06. He recently had some engine work done and went out and was testing it out, having some fun, and broke an axle. So over here, we got the CV shaft of the axles in pieces. They're not supposed to look like this. This is what a brand new one looks like. All intact, one piece, and this transfers the power to the ground. So basically, the customer wheel hopped or something happened with the car that caused it to not be happy, and it broke. And down here on this rear cross member, you can see pieces of metal gouged out, different things. The actual side of the differential we had to remove because it actually cracked the differential right here. So we're in the process of repairing these. Now, if this were to happen to your car and you were to take it to the Chevy dealer, they would tell you they have to replace the whole rear end, that it's going to cost upwards of 10 grand, 10, 15 grand. So what we do is we'll pull the side cover off and we'll actually go through and we'll repair the crack, put it all back together for you. That way you don't have to drop 15 grand on a brand new rear end when you can just have it repaired. Due to that breaking, we kind of looked at the side of the trans mount. It gouged even the side, or sorry, differential mount. It gouged the side of that as well. It also claimed the rear passenger brake line. So this guy is also discontinued. They don't even make these anymore. You can't buy them new. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some 3/16 tubing. We're gonna bend it up just like it would be OEM, put some new flares on it with the tube nuts, and it'll be just like it was brand new. And then this guy right here, this is the actual rubber mount, actually cracked, and we're replacing this with a brand new one as well. With a cast aluminum piece like this, there's a lot of contaminants in the actual metal. So what you do for this, in this case, to get a nice weld is you'll heat it up with a torch, get it nice and hot, and that'll help burn a lot of the contaminants out, which will help you just get a better penetrating weld. It'll hold better, less likely to crack again. You know, on a
show off your work there.
On a cast piece, getting a weld like that is pretty decent. Cast aluminum, you know, it was casted in sand or, you know, some other material like that, and when it's done like that, the molecules of the metal aren't as close together as they could be. So it leaves room for contaminants, different, you know, particulates to get in there and just contaminate the metal. You want it to be as clean as possible, and if there's gaps in the metal, stuff can get in there and it's bound to
I got you.
And we just recently did another one where this piece actually completely broke off, and Adrian had to repair it. Same situation, except because it was completely broke off, he ended up plating it and reinforcing it a lot more. This, we won't really have to do that because it's not as bad. But it's not a super common thing, but when it does happen, this is the way that you go about it. So the ridge that was ground down by that axle, I got it built up pretty good. I'm gonna move over here, clean this up a little bit more and fill that in a little bit, and then should be ready to go.
What stage is this?
So I'm just cleaning all the rest of the residual grease off while the diff side cover cools down. That way, once we throw it all back together, he's got a nice, fresh, clean car. So yeah, we got the side cover in. It's all torqued down to spec. Just, you know, allows us to recenter the actual input shaft, or I'm sorry, output shaft for the CV axle. Got the ridge built up. It's all in there, nice and neat. And now I just got to remake this brake line, and I'm going to get it kind of similar to OEM so that it can tuck up nicely how the old one did. We'll get it laid in there nice and then get this guy back in and he'll be ready to go.
Alright, we just finished up working on this 2JZ-swapped Solara. He cut out a good amount of the wheel well here, so we had to reinforce what he had cut out. We added this strut tower brace right here. We did some stitch welding all around just to add some of the structural rigidity back. We mounted his intercooler, added some nice tabs here, nice and solid mount. These motors are kind of big and difficult to get out without a removable rad support, so we cut up his rad support and made it nice and removable, and made the stock hood latch work because he did a lot of work on this hood and didn't want to cut any holes in it. You could scour the internet all you want, but you won't find a vented hood for a Solara, so had to make one. Because of how close the intercooler was to the throttle body, there was really no readily available intercooler piping, so we had to make him this nice pie cut cold side pipe. It is going to be a drift car, so we added a nice bash bar here. The stock crash bar did not fit the intercooler, so had to make that work. And probably the main thing he came in for, looks like he's getting pretty close to finishing, so he decided it was time to add a cage. Full 6-point roll cage in it. We got A-pillars and door bars. We were able to land the rear bars in a spot where he could fit the seat back in, so that's kind of nice. Kind of rare that you're able to fit a seat back in, but because of the structure of this thing, I was able to spread the rear bars a good amount. Back here, so this car was never meant to be rear-wheel drive, so there's a lot of stress going on back here that there normally wouldn't be. So we added this bar right here from his shock tower down to the frame rail, just to add some rigidity to the rear end, so nothing twists or bends. I think it's pretty cool. This is one of those builds you always kind of dream of doing, but like looks like he's close.
All right, I'm super stoked to reveal our Drift Cave Lemons car. This is a project the entire team's been working on the last couple months. It's going to be an awesome opportunity for all the boys to go out racing, including all our sponsors that are part of Matt's program that help us out at Drift Cave. Just kind of get everyone involved and a little bit more immersed into what Drift Cave is about. The theme of our Lemons car is modeled after the Garage 56 NASCAR. So that car ran in the 24-hour Le Mans a few years ago, and that's always been one of my favorite race cars. And I thought, man, it would be freaking cool if we were to build something similar, but more of a hokey-doke version to go around the track for Lemons racing. A lot of the big critical fab projects are actually wrapped up, so we're able to get the car stripped out, a lot of like the extra bracketry cut out. We've gotten the steering column located, all the pedals, brackets mounted as well. So it was a great starting point for what we're trying to do, and it meets kind of within that Lemons budget criteria. And thankfully we have a lot of spare parts here that we can piece a lot of this thing together.